What's going on, Mike? It is 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night. It's everybody's favorite thing to do on a Wednesday at 9 p.m. We are here. It's Mike and Mission accomplished. We got another big show for you tonight. We got the Cage Wars MMA 3-division champion. People, 3 fucking divisions at one time. It's
ridiculous.
It's hard for me to even fathom, but we got Corey Norman coming on. And then after Corey, me and Mike will recap a wild weekend in combat sports with the UFC, the BKFC, BYB. We got, what else was there? Gamebred FC. We got Jake Paul knocking out Tyron Woodley. It was a fucking wild weekend. What's going on with you, Mike?
That is what's going on. I feel like I could barely keep up this weekend. I constantly trying to watch all of these fights and also chase the kids around the house. And my wife was sick all weekend. So that was, it was extraordinary. 5 events, 2 kids, 1 wife. Sounds like a horror movie. Yeah, it was crazy.
So is she okay? Is it just like a common cold, flu, COVID? What the fuck is it? What is it?
Well, according to a man who went to school for about 8 years, he said it's a virus. And that's it. That's all we got. She went to the hospital and they said it's a virus. So, I mean, that's what you pay for nowadays. So they say, listen, you don't got COVID, so get the fuck out of here. You know,
so just rest, antibiotics, and chicken noodle soup. Is that what it is?
That's pretty much it. I went and got some Gatorade, some chicken noodle soup, and I said, hey, you're on your own in this room. Just don't come out of it because I don't want to be sick.
Yeah, did you get all your Christmas wrapping done?
Yeah, and I made a huge mistake.
What did you do?
So I had 2 parent fails. Last night we're wrapping the gifts, right? And I say to Steph, I go, how many parents do you think get caught wrapping the gifts like a year? You know, how many times does a kid come in and go, oh shit, I knew it, you know? And she was like, oh, my back hurts. I'm done. Like, she's still not feeling that well. So she goes upstairs. I'm like, oh, I'm going to clean up. So I'm cleaning up. I put all the stuff in the bag. I'm like, I'm going to go hide this elf, you know? I get the elf set up. I'm about to get the elf set up. I grab the Grinch. I'm going to do something with them. I put them down. I don't know what happened. I think I was talking to you and Ben, texting or whatever, and I left a bag of wrapping paper down here and didn't move the elf. Got up this morning and just went right to work. Got ready, went right to work. And, you know, Brooklyn got up this morning and she comes downstairs and she goes, whoa, what's this over here? Target bag with wrapping paper in it. She goes, I see LOL surprise. And Steph goes, oh, no, Auntie sent some presents. She like covered up real quick, like boom. So get that out of the way. Then she goes, hey, the elf is in the same spot again. So
you forgot to move the elf too?
The elf. She goes, oh, the elf stays over one night to make sure you stay in bed all night. So
thank God for Steph making up lies for your daughters. That's awesome. So now, do you have to unwrap all the presents, buy new wrapping paper, and rewrap them all?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You don't think your kids are smart enough to catch on? Like Christmas morning, they're going to be like, oh, wow, Santa has the same Christmas wrapping paper that I found in the bag the other night.
And I'll go, shut up, you're 5. Just open the presents.
All right. Let's get our first guest on here, man. He is a monster. He is the light heavyweight, the cruiser heavyweight, and the heavyweight champion for Cage Wars MMA, and he will be fighting and defending his light heavyweight title January 21st, right? January 21st.
Boom, my friend.
Your boys, Mike and Mish, will be at that event, and we are so pumped. Thank you, Ben Field, for that invite. Let's bring him on right now. He is the 3-division champion, Corey Norman. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
We are great. Good. Welcome to the show. This is Mission Accomplished, the spot where combat sports meets combat vets. I am Kyle. That is Mike. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. And again, I said it before in the intro, but thank you for your service.
Man, we appreciate that. So this is the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, the 3-division champion. We hear so much. Mike,
I love how you laughed. The man,
he laughed.
Legend,
Yeah, he's laughed like, legend. Well, I don't know, man. Three divisions. That's what caught my ear when Ben invited us to come to the Cage Wars event. We had seen some Cage Wars events in the past, but I'm not super familiar with all the fighters on the roster.
Yeah.
Ben's like, I want you guys to come up here. I want you to cover the event. I want you to be a guest of the promotion. This is who's going to be fighting. And I'm like looking into all of them. I'm like, wait a second, this dude's he's a champion in 3 divisions. How does that happen?
I've never seen that before.
So tell us a little bit about that. What led to the journey of becoming a 3-division champ? It's insane.
Whew, how much time you got?
How much time you got, fella?
Yeah. I mean, so I got started in MMA, early 2000s, and went on a hiatus and got my master's degree and started teaching, and then, got married, had kids, that whole song and dance, and started stringing together some pretty good victories in some grappling tournaments, and figured I'd give MMA another try. So then 2018 picked back up. So that was like, an 11-year hiatus. And I won my first match in 1 minute and 45 seconds. And then right after that, went to a title fight for the light heavyweight title. And then it was kind of difficult to find opponents. So they found somebody for me to fight at cruiser heavyweight and won that. And then, I was able to defend my light heavyweight title one more time after that. And then nobody wanted to fight me for quite some time. And then a really good friend of mine called me up and asked me if I wanted to be in his wedding and if I wanted to fight him for the heavyweight title. I went from there.
Wow.
Now that was Morrow, right? Al Morrow, is it?
Yeah, that was Al.
Al Morrow, and you had fought him twice. This would have been the second time you guys fought, correct?
Yes, this was a rematch. Yeah, I fought him originally for the light heavyweight title.
No, were you in his wedding?
He is getting married October 23rd of next year.
That's pretty outstanding, man.
He can invite us. If he invites us, we're able to get out of probably the worst drill that we have all year. So let's try to get on that invite list.
Go for it. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
what month was it?
October.
October. Yeah. Oh, yeah. October. See, I'm hoping that I'm not sitting in the position that I'm sitting in currently come next October. Right now, I'm currently the first sergeant for my company. So I'm like the guy who's in charge of 240 plus soldiers.
That's like first on the ground, for last to leave, right?
Yeah. So it's like, hopefully by
he's
next
like the dad of the unit.
I'm like everybody's dad. Yeah. It's
cute.
So I'm a dad of 2. I got 2 sons at home. I got a basketball team of 5 to 7-year-olds that I coach, and then I go to work and I'm in charge of the 240 stubborn adults.
Yeah. Oh, I hear that.
It's quite the life.
So when you were saying like the man, the myth, the legend, so I teach social studies for at-risk and troubled youth, and when you were saying like, the man, the amount of shit talk that I get from my students keeps me real humble. So anytime you're like, you're so good, I go in and like, you ain't shit, motherfucker. It's like, okay, sorry.
So what are the ages of the kids that you teach?
So currently, I'm saying that I have the best homeroom that I've had probably in my entire 12 years of teaching. My seniors are fantastic. But I mean, so I'm certified to teach 7 through 12 in New York State, and definitely some challenging kids. But it's why I get up in the morning.
So you teach seniors in high school?
I teach seniors. I teach. I've got a 10th grade global class I'm teaching. Because I'm teaching participation in government, and we'll be switching over to economics the second half of the year. And I actually have a fun one this year. I'm teaching local history, so I get to talk all about local Buffalo history, stuff like that.
Buffalo, nice. Are the Gronkowskis from Buffalo?
I get to admit this. I've never played football a day in my life, and I don't care. I just don't.
Don't watch it.
That's cool, man. That's crazy. A guy like your size, your stature and everything not being let me tell you something. Like you said, troubled youth, right? They asked me to come to my old high school at NFA in Norwich, Connecticut, and they were like, "Can you come in and talk to this class?" It was the bad kids class, and I go in there as I think I was an E7 at the time. I can't remember. I might have been an E6, but either way, just come in, talk to the kids about the possibilities of going into the military.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey guys, my name's Kyle Mish. I'm like, I've been in the military for 16 years. I did this, and this. I went to this school. I was kind of a troubled youth myself. Give them the whole spiel. I'm like, any questions? How many people you killed?
First question, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it like Call of Duty? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, you in the back. If I want to kill someone, which branch do I join? I'm like, join the Marines. Next question. When was the first time you shot at someone? I'm like, okay, anybody got any questions that doesn't have anything to do with killing someone or shooting at somebody?
It's not going to re-trigger any kind of traumatic experience that I had in my life.
Yeah, no hands are going up. I don't know. The one kid's like, do they take kids that have like issues? I'm like, what do you mean? The kid's like, I'm on a lot of meds. I'm on a lot of meds. I'm like,
in front of everyone.
yeah. I'm like, well, there's a workaround for everything, man.
So kudos for self-awareness, at least.
Yeah. We got a waiver for you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. So getting back to, you took that, what you took an 11-year hiatus from fighting?
Yeah. I fought for Power Fights out in Chicago in 2007. That was my last fight before I kind of, like
crazy.
I said, got my master's and went back into it. So
that's wild, man. And then 11 years later, you pop right back into the scene and you go on a 6-fight win streak and win 3 titles, right?
Correct.
It's crazy. And when you weren't doing MMA, you were doing grappling tournaments?
I mean, here and there, yeah. I was doing some grappling tournaments, in and around New York. Like I said, they host the New York State Submission Wrestling Championships out in Fredonia, New York, and I did that there.
Dude, he says Fredonia, and like I got to tell you, me and him were just at the
up in Fredonia. You don't know Fredonia?
I've never heard of it in my life.
What the fuck's wrong with you, Fredonia?
We went to Salamanca, New York.
Yeah, it's right in our neck of the woods.
Right, never heard of that before either. We went out there for an event for bare knuckle, and I'm like,
Belfast.
We're like, dude, hey, I'm like, hey, Mike, let's not even buy plane tickets. We'll just drive. It's in New York. We're in Connecticut and Rhode Island. It can't be that far. Salamanca is an 8.5-hour drive. I was like, how can that possibly be in New York and be 8.5 hours away?
It's insane.
My best good friend lives actually up in Groton by you guys, and it's a hike.
Who in Groton?
Who his name's Okechukwu. Is
he a fighter?
No, he's not.
Oh, I was gonna say because like I think. What was big boy super heavyweight for Cage
Jeremy
Wars? Woolfolk was down here at the sub base, right?
Yeah, he was. My goodness, he's hell on wheels. Yeah, he's down Midwestern, the South right now. I don't know where he is, but
I think he was going to like Illinois or something like that, and he said he was going to go pro. We talked to him.
That was
probably
like
a year
Christmas
ago.
Time last year.
Yeah, about a year ago. We were asking him. And it was like right in the heart of the pandemic. And we're like, so you're not fighting right now. What's the plan? Are you going to go back and, defend your Cage Wars belts? Or he said, I'm probably not going back. I'm going to do like a little farewell thing and probably go pro. Now I haven't heard from him since. So I wonder if
I messaged him right before the fight just to ask him, because like I said, I hadn't competed. So back in 2007, I competed heavyweight. And, dealing with the weight cut and everything else, just trying to kind of get my head around the weight differential. I'd messaged him, and I mean, like I said, Jeremy Woolfolk is just an extremely kind human being, other than being an absolute lethal monster as well. But it was gave me a lot of good advice and a lot of good insight, and I hope he fights again. He was awesome to watch.
Can you imagine him on a submarine?
No.
No fucking way. No,
not at all.
Like absolutely not. Hey, I gotta ask you. There's some people in the comments.
Yeah.
What's up with cream corn? Why they keep calling you Corey Cream Corn Norman? What's that?
Well, those people are what I like to call haters, and I don't blame them because they have to have something to do. I'm gonna guess that that's either Ed or that's Ben, and if it's either of them, and I see those comments, I'm gonna have direct commentary for them as well. So there's that.
Well,
you're not going to tell us
either one of those people.
I am not going to say that because it's absolutely disgusting, and I'm almost throwing up in my mouth.
No, Ben says, how about them legs though?
God damn it, Ben. I am sensitive about my size. Every time I get in the cage, I hear from Will Berry or Kyle Carey like tree trunks. Just thighs are tree trunks. Although I will say Will didn't say anything last time. Neither did Kyle. But I mean, people talk about my legs quite a bit. So
you hear them while you're fighting, and you're like, these motherfuckers.
No, I say it's never that, but it's always just, I'm like, guys, I was like, I work really hard on all parts of my body. It's not just my eyes are up here, but I mean,
Well, I got to tell you, man, I think it was the last fight you had when you won that third title, and Ben was in there drooling over you in the fucking post-fight interview. He was staring deep into your eyes in that
he
post-fight
does.
interview.
He does. Absolutely. I mean, there's a deep spiritual bond that Ben has with me, and it's just, I mean, I try to cut it off, but it's like those, 1980s ballad songs. You just can't stop that. You can't fight that feeling anymore. So.
It's a bit alarming, actually.
Right? Exactly.
You guys are coworkers, kind of.
Kind of, right? I mean, there's got to be some
Unreal.
kind of HR dispute that I could bring up, but
I think
at this
so.
point-
He says, "I'm not a hater, I'm a tater."
Oh God, Ben.
Oh man. Yeah. So speaking of Wofolk going pro, do you have plans on maybe venturing in the pro direction after another fight or two? Or I know that defending 3 titles is damn near impossible. So I'm assuming that you're gonna vacate one of these at some point, right?
So actually, the other fight on the card is for the heavyweight title. So I mean, Al is fighting. Shoot, I don't know what his name is, but he's fighting somebody for the heavyweight title because I mean it's sheer math. But I'm not going to hold up 3 different divisions on that. But yeah, I'll be defending the light heavyweight title, and then I think I'd like to go pro. I'd like to throw my hat in the ring and see what I can do.
There you go. I would not to like say anything wrong, but like
No.
you watching all your fights and then watching that heavyweight one, you were physically drained. Like you weren't the same fighter as your other fights. You still won the fight, but you can tell that the extra weight you had probably put on like 20 more extra pounds to get in there for the heavyweight title fight, right?
So the dirty little secret about that fight was I was pretty sure that I broke my foot about maybe 5 days before that fight. I got X-rays and they said no, that I hadn't broken it, but I had smashed the tendon on the top of that foot, so my mobility was pretty much gone. And then my daughter was kind of sick the week of, and I stayed home from work that day and helped her, and I woke up and she was on my face and just drooling in my mouth. I'm like, this is gonna be fantastic. And then I got bronchitis that week, so I went into that fight. So I went into that fight with a messed up foot and bronchitis. And in my head, I'm like, this is that, George St. Pierre UFC 100 round 4 thing. I'm like, he's like, I don't care. He's like, just do it. So I just redlined the hell out of it, and I got the win. It was not, but I mean, in all fairness, no, that was not the cleanest win that I've ever gotten. But I absolutely love that fight for the fact that I know what I was going through, and what was on display in that fight more so than my skills was just the mentality. So, I mean, and that's not to say that I wouldn't do heavyweight again, but I absolutely think that my best skill set is probably at 205, and I would agree with that.
What is your walk around weight? You're a big dude. Like, if anybody hasn't seen this guy fight, like he's you're a fucking massive dude. So like, what's your walk around weight? Like 230?
So right now I'm about 227, 228. And by end of this week, I'll be down to 225, which means that I can just maintain there until about January 14th, and then the rest of the cut will begin.
And then you start fucking cycling the water weight. I mean, like,
it'll be the hyperhydration with 2 gallons of water a day.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the fuck was I just gonna say?
God, what I was gonna say?
You started having post-traumatic stress response to hearing about that water cut.
Yeah.
I don't blame
you. Go ahead, Mike.
Is that the roughest part though? Like I feel like it's got to be the worst part of fighting is people cutting the damn weight before the fight. It just seems to be so brutal sometimes, and then having to like fight. Like I can't imagine being like super sick or really dehydrated today, and then I'm like, and now I'm gonna fight tomorrow. Like, I want to recover tomorrow. I don't want to fight tomorrow.
I mean, honestly, no. I mean, I like it. I like the weight cut. I like the science behind it. I do. I like the science behind it. I'm glutton for punishment. The hardest part about this is the people who didn't sign up to be gluttons for punishment. Because I mean, I'm not a joy to be around most days. And then when, I am, calorie deprived and sleep deprived and, everything else. And, trying to be the best dad that I can be on that is difficult. And it's I mean, they talk about this like this is a selfish sport, and it's hard to do that with other people, and especially when it's little people as well, to help them understand. And I mean, and having 3 little girls, and again, I was saying that, you know, my proudest moment as a father was hearing my kids, you know, fighting in the next room and hearing them scream, "Don't pull guard, that's for sissies!" And so hearing that is one of my best parenting moments ever. But to also know that comes, you know, that comes at a cost, and
That's awesome.
That's a hard thing. And dealing with the selfish nature of this sport that's the biggest struggle. Everything else I love every single moment of this.
So that answers one of my questions. I was going to ask, does your kids watch your fights?
Oh yeah, they're huge critics too.
That's fucking awesome. Mike, can I point out his shirt? This might be the
I
best
was
shirt.
gonna
This
say
might be the best shirt.
Love it.
So this was a
Would
Christmas
just look
gift
at
from
that
one of my
shirt?
students. So okay, do you guys know what this is from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, would you look at that?
And
Yeah.
Bathmaster.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
would you look at that?
So this was one of the things that I would talk about with my students, like when they would like say anything about, "Would you look at it?" Just like, "No, I'm gonna be running around the car." So this was a Christmas present from one of my students, and I was almost in tears. I was like,
That's
I love you so much. It was
And that's a
oh, you got me
great
running all
shirt.
around the car.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's a fantastic shirt. I fucking love it. My friend of mine, so like he's obviously an internet sensation, and like my friend who just left, she worked right alongside me for a long time. She got a new job. She went someplace else, but she used to get me stuff like that. She got me there was the dead giveaway. You ever see that dude that was the black dude
Dead
on the on the news, and
Yep.
the girl escaped from a house. He's like, I knew
Yeah.
something was wrong when a pretty little white girl came running to a black guy's arms. Dead
Big
giveaway. She got me a shirt with that dude on the front, and it said "dead giveaway," and I'm like, that's one of my favorite shirts. Freaking
It's
great.
crazy because that is like
Super
live
specific.
news. That's like live news, though. Anytime something like that, like that's a really serious. 3 girls were locked in this guy's basement, had kids and shit, everything, and that is the thing that came out of it. This guy saying "dead giveaway."
Giveaway.
Right. Yeah, not the
Live
actual,
on the news.
horrific event that preceded it, but no. We're gonna make a meme out of this.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's a great shirt. Ben wants me to ask you about the
Oh,
stolen kielbasa. What is it with you and Ben?
Ben, I'm not answering that damn question. Listen, you want to put those comments up, Benjamin? I'm not answering that. Okay, so no, you know what? I am going to do this. Okay, so I was taking like a progress photo, and I was like, man, this is the first time I've been 240 pounds in a long time. I didn't look like this the last time I was 240 pounds. I felt great about it. I made the damn mistake of taking that shirtless photo in gray sweatpants, and apparently the internet lost its mind. I got marriage proposals from people in Moldova. I was like, what is going? And then Ben was like, hey, you're just smuggling a kielbasa. And I was like, why are you making that goofy ass voice and telling me? Yeah, it was a progress photo. It was absolutely a progress photo.
Everybody on the internet was like, oh, would you look at that?
Oh my God, it was horrendous. And like, because originally I was like, oh, my friend's just gonna shit talk me, but like, what the fuck? Put a shirt on. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, but then the 300 plus comments that I got, I was not prepared for at all.
That's fucking fantastic.
No me gusta.
Hey, so one of your former opponents that you lost, you won due to illegal strikes.
Yes.
Just fought this past weekend. Are you aware?
Hamdi?
Yes.
Good for him.
Hamdi fought and he won in Gamebred FC this past weekend. But
was this his second fight for them?
Yes.
Yes, it was. And Mike and I were talking about this today. He hit the dude. Like I'm not shit talking Hamdi at all, but he did the exact same thing in Gamebred to his
But
opponent.
the ref didn't say shit.
The referee didn't do shit. He was punching him bare knuckle in the back of the fucking head over and over and over again. And we're like, man, That must be his MO.
Looks familiar. Yeah.
Very
I have a
familiar.
question about that fight. After the fight, because the I didn't see the event live, so
Yeah.
so what I saw or we saw was the clip of the fight, and then
Yeah.
it ended. So when it ended, he was like standing in front of you guys, still yelling in the ring about the outcome of the fight. What
Yeah.
happened after that? Like, he's in the ring yelling. They announced that you win. That's when the video cut off.
He was yelling to a bunch of different people. I even went up to him. I was like, "Hey," I was like, "This happens." I was like, "I understand that you're upset." I was like, so I've been trained in therapeutic crisis intervention. I mean, you're just working with the kids that I do. So I mean, that kind of took over, and I was like, "Hey, I understand you're upset. We can talk about this. This is not the place to do this. There are cameras on you right now. This is just a bad look, man." And he was screaming, he was yelling, and I understand being frustrated with that. I understand being worked up about that. I know he was pissed about me taking him down in the first round and everything else that went along with that.
He's an Olympic wrestler, right?
Yeah.
And you took him down.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Hey. Yeah. So he won that fight on Saturday. Ben's asking in the comments, did he throw a fit there too? No, he did not throw a fit because he actually won that one. The referee did not stop him from fucking pummeling the dude's back of his head, which is insane. And that's a whole nother conversation. If you watch that Gamebred FC event, the refereeing was suspect at best. With that said, is that something that you would ever consider? Have you shown any interest in any of the bare knuckle organizations that are out there now? Because that's really starting to catch fire as far as combat sports go. And Jorge Masvidal started Gamebred FC, and Gamebred FC is bare knuckle mixed martial arts. And I was wondering if that's something that you'd find interesting.
I've personally never really watched any of the events or anything like that. I think it is. I always think it's interesting when people kind of come up with a new tilt on the sport, and I think that this is a much more syndicated and a much more well organized version of like the team fighting stuff that we saw coming out of Russia and all the stuff that happened with that. I'm not really interested in doing bare knuckle or anything like that. I know that it definitely changes the dynamic of the punches, changes the dynamics of the injuries that you're going to get. It definitely allows for a little bit more of the grappling and ground and pound, just because you're not going to be able to throw an overhand right as hard as you want without the aid of a glove. So I definitely it adds some really interesting metrics to it, but I'm not really interested in it at this moment.
It's wild as hell, I can tell you that.
I believe that.
Yeah, it's wild. The cuts are crazy.
The cuts are crazy, but like Joe Rogan's been saying for a while that they need to take gloves out of MMA because it limits the grappling and the jiu-jitsu aspect of MMA. Like you could do so much more stuff with your bare hands. So like it's almost like rewinding to the beginning of the UFC when there were no, you know what I mean? It's almost a rewind. I don't know if Gamebred is going to last very long. They're only 3 events in, but you could definitely tell that they're learning as they go. You know, like the first event was not so good. Second one a little better. So,
and that's the interesting part of all of this is just that it is one of the oldest sports, and it's also one of the newest attractions. So it's an interesting way to go about it, just trying to find ways to do it and also keep people safe, which is it's a really weird paradigm to kind of try to find the balance of. I am interested to see, because again, you've got to balance the amount of cuts that you're going to see with anything that's bare knuckle with the amount of concussive damage that you can cause with it, which I guess, if you're going to be able to elbow people, then I guess that makes sense. But again, I don't know what I don't know about it.
It's very young. It's right. It's just getting started. So we'll see where it goes from there. The bare knuckle boxing, bare knuckle fighting has been around for a few years now. BKFC, BYB, BKB, all of them. Believe it or not, the cuts and breaks are way less than you think. There are a lot of cuts and there are a lot of blood, but nothing to the point that's going to keep you out of action for a really long time. There's a lot of fighters that are back in there every 3 months they're fighting. It's like,
I believe it. And I probably, as you as you train and you kind of learn the ins and outs of, what you can and what you can't do bare knuckle as opposed to with a gloved hand. I mean, yeah, I absolutely. There's probably a learning curve at first, but people adapt pretty easily.
oh yeah. So we do a thing called the speed round here, where we ask 10 wild off the wall questions. Yeah. We're gonna ask you 10 questions. Before we do that though, I want to ask you, like, you said that your kids at school talk shit, but are they fans of yours? Do they like? I know they talk shit because most teenage kids are assholes, but do they?
If they're fans, I wouldn't know.
No, you wouldn't know. I was gonna say, do they get a little sense of pride that, like, my fucking teacher's out there?
I mean, here's the thing. If they are, I don't know. None of them are gonna. Here's the thing. You want to talk?
They're not gonna let you know.
Protect yourself at all times. I mean, they do a real good job with that.
They're stone faced they're all talking about it before you walk in. Like, oh my god,
right.
Oh my god, did you see him last night? So crazy, he won the title. And then you walk in, they're like, bitch.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
What you looking at?
What did they say? I walked in today, and they were talking about like, they're like, I'm gonna drop you like that second round. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm glad you watched the fight. It's fantastic.
That is pretty fun. I mean, it's
not budging.
That's something like interesting. There's like a real here come the boom type fucking dynamic.
Oh my god, when that movie came out, holy shit, that was brutal at work.
They start calling you Kevin James.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was that and Warrior. I was like, come on. I was like, both of them are teachers. I was like, son of a bitch.
Oh, that's funny, man. That is fucking great. Man, we can't wait to see you fight January 21st. I don't know much about Ed Collins. What can you tell us about your opponent?
I know that he's got a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I know he's got some Thai experience. I've seen a bunch of his fights seem like they go pretty quick, and either goes his way or it doesn't. So I'm interested to see. What I can exploit and kind of where I can take the fight as far as trying to bring it to where I know that I can succeed and be very successful.
These are funny comments. Do your students ever comment on your thighs?
No, Joe Ivy, they don't. Because I'm wearing full pants when I'm doing that. It just looks like I'm wearing skinny jeans.
The girls in class probably just stare at him and learn nothing.
No, that's not accurate either. They talk the most shit.
It's because they all got little crushes on you. They're like right before you walk. See all the guys in class were like, "Hey, did you see Mr. Norman fucking beat that dude the other day?" And when you walk in, they're like, "Yeah, bitch, we saw that second round." Yeah. The girls are like, "Did you see that gray sweatpants picture on the internet?"
No.
And then you walk in, they're like, "Oh, hi."
So my original shirt for the last fight was supposed to be me just wearing my championship belt in like all like Burt Reynolds on Vanity Fair. I put that up and I was like, man, this is gonna be fantastic. I got a call from my boss / principal real quick. She was like, hey, buddy, you need to take that down now. I was like, okay, all right, boss, sorry. They're like, yeah. They're like, if one of our kids come in with that shirt on, she was like, I don't even want to have to deal with HR on that. I was like, yeah, okay.
Oh man, it's a weird it's a really weird two worlds that you got to juggle, man.
Yeah.
It's like, because honestly, in the mixed martial arts and the combat sports world, you need to market yourself on social media to grow a following, to get sponsors, to get money. You want to get paid for what you're fucking doing.
That's why I'm a bad businessman.
So it's like that's a tough spot to be in, man.
Yeah. It's the same way porcupines kiss really carefully. So it's just, you got to manage it.
Well, you know what? We can't wait to see you fight. I'm sure your students feel the same way. We're going to do a speed round with Mr. Corey Norman, the 3-division champion, the light heavyweight champion, who will be defending January 21st against Ed Collins. Here we go.
All right.
Number one.
Okay.
Of all your tattoos, which one is your favorite?
Of all of my tattoos, which one is my favorite?
You got a shitload of them, so.
Yeah, just a few, The one that I got done on my inner arm, it's of a tiger. It's a tarot card. My oldest girl, her name is Isla, and for the longest time we called her Isla the Tiger, and so I got that one for her, and that's probably one of my favorites.
Nice. I love it. Number 2.
Number 2, what's your favorite ornament on your Christmas tree?
I don't know what any of the ornaments are. Come on, guys.
Come on.
The giant bow on the top. There you go.
Oh, dude.
You have like a pickle or something?
You could have easily lied and been like, my daughter,
yeah.
when she was in 2nd grade, she made...
She did. Damn it. Yeah, that's it. The one with her face on it. With her little
parent
buck-tooth
fail.
grin.
Number
Hey, Dad,
1.
There we go. That's my favorite one. The buck-tooth grin that she's got on that one.
The buck-tooth grin. I love it,
Nice.
man. All right, number 3. If you were competing in a lip sync battle and you had to perform 2 songs, which 2 songs are you choosing?
I'm choosing karaoke, 1. 2, it's going to be Bust a Move by young, now old MC. And then it's going to be, let's see. We're going to do I've Been Everywhere by Johnny Cash.
You know all the words to both of those songs?
Yahtzee. Yup.
Yahtzee.
All right, Mike, hit it.
You know what's funny is you just asked him the tattoo question, and then he brought up Johnny Cash. There's a really, not really famous, but a famous MMA fighter, Alan Belcher. I don't know if you've ever seen his Johnny Cash tattoo. Yeah. It's infamous, right? Everybody knows that tattoo. I just thought it was kind of funny that
I never knew what it was until he fought Akiyama, and Akiyama hit that awesome trip on him. Belcher's like, that was a good one. I was like, oh shit, okay.
We just watched him. He's now fighting bare knuckle. He fought Tony Lopez in his debut and won that one in a I think it was a unanimous decision. He looks pretty good in bare knuckle, man. He's about 50 pounds bigger than he was in MMA.
Akiyama or Alan Belcher?
No, Belcher.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Belcher fought at 185 for most of his career.
Whew, so he's heavyweight now?
He came in at
huge.
235 pounds, yoked out of his goddamn mind.
Just a little bit of Mexican supplements, but okay. Yeah, sure.
That's that horse meat.
You know what? We've got it. Just growing big in Tennessee.
All right, number 4.
How long do you think it would take to drink a standard size above ground swimming pool of water?
What in the hell?
Not milk, not soda, water.
Yeah.
I like how you have that.
Water. So we're doing. That's gonna take probably about 3 months.
3. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the gallons. An above ground swimming pool takes.
Is it just me?
It's just you. Just you. A standard 15-foot.
Oh, it's
above
it's way longer than that. Then never mind.
4,646 gallons.
Okay, so that's going to take me 4 years.
I think it'd be more like 15 years, to be honest with you. I don't know, man. I always ask that question.
It's a wild ass question.
Some of the people will be like, "Oh, dude, 2 weeks." I'm like, "What? Do you know how much water is in a fucking
dead.
pool?"
You're dead.
You are literally drinking 200 gallons a day. Maybe more. It's fucking nuts. All right, number 5. Here we go. If you could eliminate one thing from planet Earth, what do you eliminate?
I prescribe to certain ideas of economics, and there is a lot of human beings on the planet. I'm not going to go the dark route in this. I'm just going to say poverty. There we go. We're going to eliminate poverty from the planet.
There's so many ways you could have gone there.
There's a lot of ways I could have gone on that.
Oh yeah.
Look at Ben.
Nice.
Ben fucking Field says, "Drink or butt chug." The swimming pool.
Ben, just why? Why?
All right, number 6.
What's the craziest thing that a student has ever said to you?
Oh. It's the reason. Jesus Christ. This is the reason why I went. The moment that this student came to me and said this and asked me this question with a straight face, I then went to my boss and said, "I need to teach health this summer." He said, "How long do you keep the condom on after you pee in the girl?"
What the fuck?
was
What
like-
the hell
I went-
conversation were you
I
guys
went-
having before that?
I
What
went
the
to
hell?
my no. He literally
Random
he
ass
was,
shit.
He was sitting there and he's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I was like, okay. So he goes to the bathroom, comes back, and he's like, Mr. Rama, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah, sure. So I'm thinking this is gonna be whatever. He's like, yeah. He asked me a question. I was like, I'm gonna need to talk to your counselor just for a quick second about something completely unrelated. I went down, talked to the
Holy shit.
counselor, and then talked to my boss. I was like, Cindy, I need to teach health to these kids this summer because that's egregious.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That is fucking a phenomenal answer. And you know what? My 10-year-old right now, he's in 5th grade, and like the school sends home this YouTube video on emails parents. It says we're going to be watching this video on puberty.
Yeah.
If you want to watch it with your child before they go to school, so we watch it with him. Right? He's the most mature kid in the world. Right? He's like, they show, they talk about erections and wet dreams and vaginas and all this shit, and he's just sitting there like
Taking notes.
taking it all. He's not a fucking dickhead about it, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to school and they bring all the 5th grade classes to the cafeteria on this big screen. There's 4 classes worth of kids. He gets home.
What a horrible way to teach that
Yeah,
class.
it's like they're showing like a naked, like it was like an animated naked girl, and they show like her vagina and stuff like that. And like, Daddy, you should have seen how crazy everybody went when they showed that girl's vagina. I was like, what? He goes,
Welcome to the real world, buddy.
He goes, one kid just got up and started running around the auditorium.
Yeah.
Today I am a man.
And you go like this. You're like,
"Ah!"
imagine this, son. People have started wars over this.
It's like
You ever
the
hear of
start
Achilles?
2001 Space Odyssey, just the apes just losing their minds.
Oh, dude, it was crazy.
Wait till
And-
you find
hey.
out how many people have been murdered over a vagina. son.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Turf wars. You ever hear of Troy? That whole fucking war was over a fucking woman. So when we were watching the video of my 10-year-old, my 7-year-old is like earshot away, and he's going, "Ha, penis!" Woo! He's like, it gets way longer when it gets hard. The 7-year-old saying that, I'm like, you just stop, just stay over there and shut up. Gets way longer. Good. Dude, it's hilarious. Anyways, that's enough penis and vagina talk for tonight. Number
For
7.
now.
Here we go. If you could fight anyone in MMA history, who would be your dream opponent?
I wish that George and I were the same weight class.
St. Pierre?
Yep.
That's awesome.
You might be
That's-
now. I haven't seen him for a while, so
I follow him on Instagram. He's big. He ain't that big.
Yeah, because he did fight at 185, but you never know.
I bet you that's his walk around weight right now, though. He posted a picture of himself like eating breakfast with his shirt off, because that's what everyone does. They eat breakfast with their shirt off at a restaurant. That's what George. He's just like, yeah, and he's all fucking jacked up, but he don't look any bigger than like 185. I think.
If I had to choose somebody from my weight class, Randy.
Randy Couture. Fuck yeah. No John Jones. You don't want to smack him around.
I mean, I hope I get the chance to see him at some point. Yeah.
Outstanding, man. I hope you do at one point. Number 8. Here we go, Mike.
If you could have dinner with any 3 people,
God,
dead or
you're
alive,
killing me.
who would they be?
Okay. Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln. Okay. Do I get to fight one of them?
If
Sure.
you want to, you
Okay.
could fight at the table. You
Hey,
could.
what kind of dinner party would it be if somebody
Okay.
didn't throw down?
I would want to royally beat the shit out of Andrew Johnson. God damn it. You want to talk about one of the worst presidents in U.S. history? That guy is fucking single-handedly responsible for the schism in racial divide in American history and the schism in political issues across the board. God, on top of that, he had one of the worst haircuts of any president in the United States. Oh my God. I would
Oh,
want to have
wait a
Teddy
second.
Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln beat the hell out of Andrew Johnson with me. Yep. Done.
Haircut versus haircut. Trump, Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson. He looked like a wet dog.
That is a social studies teacher
That
talking
good?
right there, my friend.
I mean, honestly, like it was the same. They have the same I can't even make it, but like it looked like a bulldog that had just taken like a bulldog that had took like a 100-yard dash in a 90-yard room. Like it was bad.
Oh
Sorry,
man,
that was a lot of content area real quick, but you're gonna throw
No.
me softballs. I'm gonna throw them out. So
you know what though? That's an educated answer right there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
fucking some people be like, "Oh, dude, fucking give me a Pam Anderson in her prime, Tommy
Yeah.
Lee, and
Tommy Lee.
and
What?
Tony Montana, and me and him
Yeah,
will
a
do
fictional
coke."
character. Jesus Christ.
Number 9, best and worst present you've ever received for Christmas.
Oh God. Best. I mean, this shirt is pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. I was telling myself like this might be probably the best present I'm gonna get this Christmas. The worst
Shirt is
present.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you open up the present, you just go, as you're opening, you go, what the fuck is this? But in your head, and then you're like, oh,
Hey, I love it.
Oh,
You know what?
nice.
Here's the thing. I think
It wasn't that shirt you have on. That might be
was
the
not.
best.
That's what you just said.
My brother got me a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu like instructional guide one time, and this was already while I'd been like grappling for like years, and like it was like beginner's guide to submission wrestling. And I'm looking, I was like, what the fuck? Like, did you just find this at the library? Like, I was like, but I mean, of course, I had to be like, hey, thanks, Colby, appreciate it. But I mean, whatever.
Dude, that's fantastic. The shirt is by far the best.
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic.
I was distracted a second ago because Ben said, would Lincoln still have the hole in his head?
At the dinner?
Benjamin, I'm going to say this as kindly as I can. You need to take 5 steps back from talking about one of America's greatest presidents. I have a tattoo of a penny on my arm because of that man.
God. Ben just goes hard.
He got no class,
fucking
man.
Corey Norman,
None.
that's for sure.
Unbelievable.
It's just unforgivable. I cried at the Lincoln
Unforgivable.
Memorial the last time I was there, Ben.
Ben, we're all going to be in the same area up in New York, and I hope that the same dynamic between you and Corey over the internet is in person, because I'll laugh my ass off. Oh,
Hey, do you want to talk about the cream corn? It's like, no, Ben. No, I don't.
last but not least, this is from Miguel. Go ahead.
All right. What is something your daughters watch on TV that drives you insane?
In a good way or bad way?
Bad way.
Okay.
This is coming from, like, you and Mike both have daughters. I have
Yep.
nothing to do.
I
My
got 2.
kids watch Marvel and fucking violent shit. They love it. So
Okay, so I got 2. So one is Blippi. He is Mario's cousin that is probably mandated to stay 25 feet from any schoolyard at any given time. Like, I don't appreciate that man at all. So there's that.
That's like one of my top ones right there.
Yep. And then there's
Blippi.
Yep, Blippi. And then there's A for Adley.
I don't know what that is.
Never watched that.
Don't. It is essentially just, it is like all the ways that you're bereft as a father. It's like this stay-at-home dad who does want to do a box for today instead of going to school. I make you a 5-star meal. It's like, easy, dude. Some of us got to work for a living. And this guy's like hanging out. He's got his like hat backwards and he's got his like Keanu Reeves looks like easy. And then like you hear people be like, oh, he's such a good dad. I was like, I'll choke him unconscious and leave him drooling on the linoleum. Don't. Like, I can't. So every time my kids are like, Dad, why don't you hang out with us? Like, A for Adley's dad. I'm like, okay.
A for Adley.
Yeah.
Oh,
And now
boy.
we're done with the iPad now. And
Yep.
all right, I'm going to do one extra because my kids recently discovered a show, and I'm throwing this out there for you. If you have Disney Plus, find the show Bluey.
That's what we watched.
It's so damn good.
I love that show.
It's so good. I watched it. First episode I watched is this like really like inspiring story about overcoming like language barriers and stuff. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, this is a great show. Kids like, can we watch another episode? I'm like, yeah, it's 10:30 at night. Yeah, sure, go for it. Like, it's
You
I
fucking
love
got
this
a
show.
tear.
They do the keepy uppy. They had the balloon. One episode they're trying to keep the balloon up, in the whole episode I was like, I do this. I love
all
this
the
show.
time. All the time. Like, I watch it. I'm like, this show is single-handedly made me a better father. Like, I'm like, okay.
I love that show. I hate Blippi. I have a really funny story about who that guy who plays Blippi. He was a former Air Force. He was formerly in the Air Force. and he also was trying to get famous for a while. So he made a video that was pretty crazy. Do you know about it?
I don't, but now I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay, so you remember the Harlem Shake videos that came out where the music was like do, do,
Yeah.
do, 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 do. So everybody was like normal doing something, like maybe they were like
Yeah.
and then all of a
And then, like,
sudden
the
it would
whole
go
group
when the
would-
beat dropped, everything was nuts.
Yeah,
All
so
right,
like a
well,
Fat Boy Slim beat. Yeah.
so Blippy, what he did with his buddy before he was Blippy is he starts off and he's sitting on a toilet with a helmet on, right? And his friend is like standing up and they're kind of like just bobbing their heads and whatever. And then when the scene changes, he's actually standing on the toilet with no pants on, crouched down, and his friend is upside down with his legs on the wall. And he absolutely 100% shits all over his friend. For real. 100%. And when he became famous, when he started getting popular as Blippy, he hired a bunch of lawyers and they scrubbed the internet. So you can still find that video, but it's not easy.
Get the
That is
fuck outta
100% true story.
here. He's got a poop video on the
And I
internet.
found it at work because we talked about it one day, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna find this video today, and we found it.
Do you know that episode of The Office where Michael kisses Oscar and like Pam's just like watching it? Like that's like the mental like equivalency of what I'm doing. Like that. What?
Uh-huh.
My kids have watched it. Oh my
Yep.
god.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, yo, this son of a bitch.
Well, that's even more reason for me to say no more Blippy. He's gonna
No
show
more
on
Blippy.
Amazon now.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
I
a legit show.
honestly, I know I know the colors that Blippy wears. Does he wear like orange and white
And
and
blue.
blue?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know what he
looks
looks
like one
like,
of the Mario Brothers, but he like
I-
the evil version of that.
but I can't tell. I can't say if I've ever watched one of those before.
He goes to like
Congratulations.
Discovery
Yeah.
Zone type places and plays and talks about colors of things and he also like goes to like science museums. Like the more popular he got, they let him get access to like the Boston Museum of Science, but I think he lives in like Washington or Oregon or something like that. So he'd go there when no one's there and he'd go through, but his voice like like that's how he is the whole
So
time.
when
Yeah.
Mike, when people discovered the video, that's when he lawyered up to get it off the internet.
I
Like,
think
people
that
wanted
he
his
or-
show taken down or something.
No, I don't know the intricacies of that. I just know that like all of those videos have pretty much disappeared from the internet, you know, because
that's
of
impressive to be able to do that. One, that's like that's okay.
Yeah, because he's really popular. I mean, he's a multimillionaire at this point. He's worth a lot of money.
Joe Ivy says,
lot of money.
him. I just googled him, and he does look like someone who poops on people.
Oh God, bless
Yeah,
America.
he's worth 40 mil.
Oh man, you know what? We just watched it. We just watched a scene from a movie called the movie 43,
Oh God.
and Chris Pratt's like, yeah, his girl wants him to poop on her, and he's like, then his one buddy's like, you really gonna shit on her? And JB Smooth's like, bro, shitting on someone's what you do a horse. You poop on someone you love.
I've never seen that movie. We got to see it.
No, no, you don't. I'm
Gotta see it.
Don't.
It's the best. Seems like it's the best.
All right, this has gone off the rails a little bit. Okay, so anyways, let's reel it back in. Thank you so much for taking part in the speed round for sure.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That was fun. It's not every day that I get to answer ridiculous questions about children's shows and American presidents.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Watch
saying.
Bluey.
Watch
No.
Bluey. Yeah.
Watch this.
If you did get anything, yep.
What the
watch
fuck
Bluey.
is Mike doing?
Is he gonna get a balloon and just toss it up in the air?
Happened to be right here on the floor. Look at that. In
Are
front
there
of me.
action
Oh,
figures?
that's
Are there
Bluey.
action
Okay.
figures for it?
Yeah. That's it. That's
I hadn't done
That's
my
the
Christmas
deck.
shopping yet. I know exactly what I'm doing right now.
I think that's the dad.
Is that Bandit? No, that's Bluey.
That's Bluey.
Ben Fields got some fucking issues, dude. Does he look like the type of guy who bangs while wearing a CPAP? What the
Mhm.
fuck, dude? Oh god,
But yeah, that's it.
That's part of the cream corn
It's
story.
an
Oh, is it?
Australian.
Oh, we're gonna have to get this cream corn
No,
story.
I'm sparing. This is one of those things where like you're like, oh, I want to know. Listen, you open Pandora's box, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Don't. I'm saying don't.
All right. Well, we're gonna open that box.
Respect the
when we
man's
have
wishes,
some.
Kyle.
All right. Well, he's given us almost an hour of his
I
damn
know.
time sitting in his fucking car. We appreciate you, Corey Norman, 3-division champion, fighting January 21st against Ed Collins. Give us a few minutes, or shout out some people. Shout out to your sponsors are at the bottom there, and then we'll let you get on your way.
Thanks. As always, just want to thank all of the people that end up coming out to the fights. I absolutely, love all of you guys. People support, the haters, all of you guys. Could not be able to do it without you guys. Keeps me fueled, keeps me motivated. All the people that I see, at the gym who are, struggling with, reps and stuff like that. There's this guy at Catalyst Fitness who, always comes up to me. He's, he has one leg. I see him doing squats. So every single time, like, oh, my legs hurt. I'm like, I've got nothing to fucking complain about. So to Froggy and everybody at Catalyst, thank you guys so much. Casey's Fitness, Kevin, thank you for helping me work on my boxing. OP MMA, all the people that train with me, guys, I love you so much. WNY MMA, thank you guys for, accepting me in and helping me work on all my skills, keeping me sharp. Blossom Buffalo, Doc Sullivan's, Julie's Pizza, Thumpers Things, Customs by Shy, all of you guys, thank you so much for believing in somebody like me. I could not do this without you guys. All my training partners, you guys know who you are. And to my girls, Isla, Elena, Nora, I love you guys. I could not be a prouder father.
That's awesome. Well, we will see you January 20th at the weigh-ins. Mike and Mish will be in the house, and we'll hang out.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
We'll get that cream corn story,
Okay.
and then and then we'll keep it rolling into pro. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on. You're back. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it so much.
All right, take it easy.
Have a good one.
What a fucking cool guy, Mike.
Yeah. He talked about all sorts of
He
stuff.
talked about poop and presidents and
Yep.
kids and
Yep.
Bluey.
Were those the
Wait,
last three people you thought he was going to name?
Oh,
I just really didn't know, but I
you
feel
know
like
what? Being a history teacher, we probably should have fucking known something.
Should have
smart.
known.
Something smart was
should
going
have
to come out of
known.
that guy.
Should have freaking known.
Does he really have an OnlyFans? I don't like to bring that kind of shit up because
and I don't. Here's the thing. I think it's probably a joke, but I mean, it might not be. But I know he's a teacher, so probably not real.
right, probably not. Fucking
Yeah.
jerks. He's just trying to get him. You guys are trying to get
Look at
him.
this. Susan Walker says, "So hot, want to touch the hiney." Oh.
Dude, so Bluey and Blippy, right?
Bluey is
Y-
probably one of the best cartoons, like for kids that I like. I love it, man. The episodes are so like real to like what actually happens in your life. Like, I don't know. I just think it's awesome.
Better than like Big
Blippy is
City
like-
Green. Have you ever seen Big City Greens?
No.
Dude, I got sweat in my eyes.
Yeah, oh no, you showed me when we were in that fucking horrible ass Motel 8-6, whatever the fuck we were staying at.
Yeah. Dude, that shit is hilarious.
Where someone got murdered.
It's about a farm family that moves to the big city, and it's kind of like Beverly Hillbillies, but it's a cartoon, and they're way fucking worse. It's hilarious. And then another thing that my kids watch is Alien TV. You got to watch Alien TV on Netflix.
You showed me that too with the train, and they fucking shrunk each other, and they
me
went
and
into the
me
train.
and
We
my-
watched that
Yeah.
together as grown men with Lisa.
But we have kids, man. I
Yeah.
mean, when we talk about
But
kids,
we weren't with our kids, though. We were together.
I was trying to give you something to watch with your kids. You fucking
We watched a whole
motherfucker.
episode together.
Fucking Jesus Christ, dude. Well, you know what? Hey, let's talk about this for a second. Corey Norman's fighting January 21st, like we said, but they have the 50th event, right? The Cage Wars 50 is coming up January 21st at the Rivers in Schenectady, New York. Schenectady, New York. Rivers Casino and Resort. Cage Wars 50. Look at that cool graphic, man. That's bad.
Love it.
I love it
so much.
Very
I
cool.
think that's fantastic. That graphic is wonderful.
You know, this is like Cage Wars puts out a fucking hell of a product, man. These guys really do it right. Like everything about it. And some of the YouTube videos, if you watch them, some of their sound was a little fucked up. Ben, take note. But this was like videos from like 5 years ago. So I'm sure now that they got Ben on the horn, just fucking chatting it up like the Joe Rogan of Cage Wars, man. I love it, dude. We're gonna have the best time ever. I cannot wait. I'm really looking forward to that. We're gonna be sitting cage side and having a good time.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
excited.
we're gonna do a little after partying with Mr. Field. And I'll, if anybody knows that we made a bet at the beginning of this year about Lauren Murphy.
A very lopsided bet, might I add.
Yeah, if you guys remember, our boy Ben thought that Lauren Murphy was going to end the year as the 125-pound champion in the UFC. I'm pretty sure he was,
which would have been more surprising than Pena.
He was
beating Amanda Nunes.
He had to be very, very, very high on them big city greens that night when he made that stupid fucking comment. I gotta tell you, dude. No. But I was also wrong. So, like, everybody and their mother fucking said at the beginning of the year, I did that show with Ben about, predictions for 2021. Who's going to end the year as the heavyweight champion? Who's going to end the year as blah, 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 blah. We all unanimously said Amanda Nunes. I actually might have said Valentina Shevchenko goes up to 135 and beats Amanda Nunes, but nobody said fucking Juliana Pena. That shit blew my goddamn
mind. Happened too right before the end of the year. This just happened to happen.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That was great. There's been so much good combat sports in the last couple of weeks. This past weekend, we had bare knuckle fighting in Thailand.
Yeah.
We had bare knuckle fighting at BYB Extreme 8. We had bare knuckle fighting at Gamebred FC. We had UFC Derek Lewis versus Daukaus event, which was fucking awesome. There was a bunch of really good fights on that. There was a couple snoozers, but there were some really good ones. Cub Swanson doing his thing once again. And then we had Jake Paul knocking out Tyron Woodley. We got to talk a little bit about some of this stuff. I want to talk a little bit. I'll start, then you go. I'm going to start with the 3 bare knuckle events.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that if you watched all 3 of them, which one did you think was the best? I don't know, like the best event out of those 3. Thailand, BYB, Gamebred.
I was more into, now, caveat, I watched Thailand today, and I watched the main event the day it happened, or, because it was supposed to go live, which we should talk about that. They said it was going to be live on the app. And
they fucked that one up.
47 minutes later, someone said on Facebook, hey, I thought the Thailand event was good. BKFC won Thailand. And everyone was like, wait, what? They said live tonight at 8
p.m.
It's really actually supposed to be 8 a.m. in America, 8 p.m. in Thailand, not 8 a.m. in the morning the next day in Thailand, like it seemed like it was going to be. So anyways, that was odd. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on that because people knew already who won before the event happened, and nobody like that kills it, because at right there I'm like, I'll watch it, but not tonight, like that automatically, like for me, was like, I don't know what it is about the live thing though. It's like, I'm not going to watch it at 8 because it's not live, so I'll watch it at any time because I already know that TJ lost, and that was the main fight that I was looking forward to. So
and for those who don't know, actually, let me throw the
to answer your question though, BYB8, that was the one that I was most into. Yes, from watching the fights and stuff. I liked that one. I was more into it. It was, and it might just because the live factor, but I was watching that and Gamebred at the same time, going back and forth, and I was just more into that. And now I rewatched some of the fights for BYB too, and I still was like, oh yeah, I like this fight. So that was the one.
BYB was good. There was some, but I thought that there was some really good fights on that Thailand card. The fucking French dude and the Brazilian guy, Pereira and whatever his name is, Van de Hel or whatever. Van de Hel knocked him down twice in the first round. It was a 10-7 round. everybody thought that motherfucker, they thought that Brazilian kid was out, like he was not coming back. And he came back and he battled back and won that fight unanimously. It was an awesome fight. TJ getting dropped. We talked to TJ Chang. TJ isn't making excuses, but he's saying that he should have never agreed to take that fight on 6 days' notice. He was training for Fabiano Hawthorne. He felt great. He said he felt better than ever. He was ready to go right through Fabiano. And then Fabiano pulled out of the fight. And on 6 days' notice, they gave him this guy, Salamani. And admittingly, TJ said, I didn't even know who the fuck he was. I didn't know anything about him. I literally just said, sure, I'll fight whoever. And hindsight 2020, he's like, I wish I would have known who the fuck he is or like studied him a little bit, but I did not. And that's what happens. So unfortunately for TJ, he got popped hard in the first round. I don't know if it broke his nose or not. I don't think it did. I think he's okay, but he just got dropped twice. And on the second one, he stayed down, and that was it. 30 seconds into the first round.
And it didn't seem like a big shot. I even rewatched it too, but he had a cut and like blood was coming out. And I was like, wow, that happened so fast. It didn't seem like the craziest punches, but clearly it was. You know, that's the thing about bare knuckle. You just don't know when. You know, when you see things, when you see shots land in bare knuckle sometimes and you hear it, it's like, wow, it makes that fucking noise, just reverberates and it fucking, you feel it. But the guy just keeps fighting. But then all of a sudden they get hit with something. It doesn't look like it lands and they fall on the ground so hard. It's like, holy shit. What
it was like the ones that he hit him, it was like he just like stuffed him in his face. It wasn't even it was just like he stuffed it. It was a left hook that fucking got him right between the eyes. But you know what? Go back and watch that. It's on the app. It was a really good event. A lot of good fights on there, and it was nice to see Chris Lieben calling being the color guy to the play-by-play with Sean Wheelock.
Yeah, he was cracking me up a bit.
Yeah,
he's in that fight that you said you liked. There, Pereira. And
he kept talking about fortitude and drive.
He said Vandal or something like that, right? So he says that dude after the first round, guy gets dropped. He says he forgot his mouthpiece, so he's like going, "Oh, mouthpiece." So like they're taking their fucking sweet ass time getting this guy his mouthpiece, and he goes, looks like he's trying to get that extra 20 seconds there, huh? You know, this and that. And I was like, he was making me laugh the whole time. Yeah. Every now and he'll just call people out on their bullshit during the fight.
Lieben definitely said, yep, he successfully bought himself an extra 20 seconds right there. That was nice. And then he was like talking about fortitude and heart and drive. He kept talking about that. It was cracking me up because it was like, it's like so cliche. It's hilarious, but
believe, conceive, achieve.
Yeah. Believe. Shut the fuck up. Jail. We should talk about that too. But then you go on to BYB 8. Our girl Sarah Click, man, we got some pictures of that. Sarah, I mean, we really like Sarah, but I gotta tell you, man, she seemed like outclassed in this fight, and maybe this was a matchmaking mistake. Like maybe they should not have her. Maybe I don't know. Maybe her management should have scouted her opponent a little more, and instead of agreeing to put her in there against Patty Juarez. You know, maybe get her a warm-up fight in bare knuckle before throwing her in there against the champ, because Patty Juarez beat the fuck out of her, and maybe Sarah's gonna get upset about this too. But I want to talk a little bit about her corner. You know, and it's really hard for corners to throw towels. Nobody ever wants to give up on their fighter, but good Lord, man. There was way too many shots taken in that fight by Sarah Click. The referee fucking sucked. The referee sucked. The fucking corner should have known that their fighter was in trouble. You're taking years off of her life, man.
I feel like at that point, you know, the shots that she was throwing to return when she was throwing a shot was not enough or hard enough to be able to get her back in the fight. So I do feel like, you know, they should have known, like, listen, there's probably no way in hell in the next, 4 more rounds that she's gonna somehow come back in this. It's just way too much, you know.
Her approach on that fight was
She's too
weird.
strong, you know. Fighters is too strong for their own good, you know.
Right. It's tough as fucking nails. She never went down. She just fucking, dude. She would have stood there and just took a beating in the corner for the rest of the 7 rounds. It would have been a bloodbath forever. But even like round 1, Sarah's approach in that fight was strange to me. It was just like dipping her head way down and like throwing wild shots. She wasn't looking at her opponent. Anytime she threw a punch, she wasn't looking at Patty Juarez. Anytime she threw a punch in that fight, her head was down and she was just swinging and praying, dude. Just swinging, like, you know, pull and pray.
When I'm watching that fight, after even the first round and going into the second round, and I know that the last fight that Patty was in went the entire 7 rounds, and it was a war. And at that point, seeing how
After
far
round
ahead
1,
that she's already getting, I'm like, this is not good, because she's been here already. She went full 7 3-minute rounds of bare knuckle. BKFC's 2-minute rounds, 5 2-minute rounds. It's a much shorter fight. She went 7 3-minute rounds already to get that championship belt. If
And talk about toughness.
You can win with any punch, right? You can win. A punch could land, it could be over. But at a certain point in that second round, I was like, things do not look good for me right now.
I didn't think that she should have went out there for the 4th round. I thought they should have stopped it in between the 3rd and 4th. And like, this just shows that about Sarah's fucking grit, man. She was losing every minute of that fight, and her eye was so bad coming out of the 3rd into the 4th. She made it almost 4 full rounds.
I know.
Like, good Lord, man. I don't know the punch stats on that fight. I didn't look them up or anything, but if you guys go back, look up BYB Extreme 8, check that fight out, man. Sarah got fucked up pretty good, and I know that she was in really good spirits afterwards, and she's too like Mike just said, she's almost too tough for her own good. Another thing I just wanted to point out on that, like, that was a good event. Like, I'll agree with Mike, that was a really good event. I just was like watching it. I was watching the 3 bare knuckle events and like looking at like production quality, sound. Like, I'm looking at it different, because a lot of the fights on all the events were really good. There was a lot of good fights on all the events.
Yeah.
I liked BKFC Thailand's just like production package that they put out. It was really nice. BYB, what cracked me up is when they were talking about the Desmond Green fight coming up, and they're like, making his bare knuckle debut tonight at BYB 8. At one point, one of the most recognizable names on the entire UFC roster, Desmond Green. I fucking immediately texted Mike, and I was like, one of the most recognizable names on the BKFC roster. The diehards know who he was.
Yeah. To 1% of fans, maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
and Desmond Green did have a decent career, and like, he did fight some really big names and get some nice wins. But to call him, so yeah, when he was there, yeah, he was up there in the conversation with fucking GSP and like Carlos Condit. Yeah, sure. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's, and I'm not trying to like fucking add insult to injury here, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that fight either. I was a little bit,
it wasn't
underwhelmed by it, and I was a little disappointed too, because obviously it was talked up like this big thing, and it just wasn't what I thought it would be. You know what I mean? I felt like he didn't seem too clean. He didn't seem like. It seemed weird. Like, I don't know, man. That fight, when I was watching it, I was like, what was his game plan coming into this fight? Like, I just couldn't figure out what was going on here. Like, I don't know.
So Des Green, right? He has a 23-8 MMA record, but his UFC record, he was 4-3, right? His most notable wins were over Josh Emmett, very respectable, Gleison Tebow, Ross Pearson, and Charles Jourdain. But to call him one of the most recognizable names, I just thought it was like, come on, guys. You guys, I know you're trying to pump your show up.
Yeah.
But when you say that and the audience is watching, they're like, who?
Yeah.
I gotta Google this
Hold
fucking
on a
guy now.
second.
So they're like Googling him. They're like, I still don't know who the fuck he is. I mean, like we know, but come on, you know who he has a win over? Smash, Martin Brown.
Smash Brown.
He beat him in Titan FC, a lightweight bout. But yeah, man, it was a very good bout. Then very good show. Another very good show. Gamebred.
Well,
go ahead.
BYB. I would say the Mitchell. If you watch the Mitchell fight, it wasn't long. He did this like bounce off the ropes fucking shot at the end of the fight that ended it, which was pretty cool. What I really liked was, then there was the Barry Jones fight. Barry Jones and Miller.
BKB
As soon
guy,
as it started, Miller started swinging like a nutcase and ended up getting caught himself, and then it was over. That lasted about 10 seconds. But the Diamante spin. Diamante does this spin at the 12 seconds left in front of Chiffin's, and Chiffin's almost like he was watching Disney on Ice. I feel like he did the spin and Chiffin's had his hands up, and then he was like, wow, that's so cool, man. Yeah, I love that. He seemed like he was just overtaken by
the spin.
Joy. He was just like, that is fantastic, that spin. And he just let his hands down to his chest. So Diamante spins and then stops for a second. It's like, boop, see you later. Just knocks him off. It's like, what the fuck happened? I said, he really did finesse him with the spin. He seemed like he enjoyed that spin so much that he forgot he was fighting for 2 seconds. He let his hands down and just completely stopped moving. It was the weirdest thing, but it worked.
The spin was what
caught him off guard.
Yeah, everybody there was just like, what the fuck?
Oh shit!
Hey,
and then he's on the ground.
I'm looking at Des Green's fucking record, and in his 23 wins, dude, he has a win. His very first pro fight ever over Rob Font. He beat Rob Font.
Wow.
Then 3 fights later, he beat Bruce Boyington, who we know, a New England legend. Then, dude, you go, 8 fights, 10 fights later, he beat Mike Richmond in Bellator. He left Bellator. He went to Titan FC. He beat Miguel Torres, Steven Seiler, and Martin Brown in fucking Titan FC. Then he went to the UFC and beat Josh Emmett, Gleison Tebow, Ross Pearson. So he does have a nice record, but that doesn't warrant the comment that they made about him. Well, I won't back off that one. Gamebred FC. What did you think about Gamebred, dude? I am not talking ill of this promotion because they're only in their third event. They're running before they can walk type thing here. And there was a lot I didn't like about this event. I didn't like a lot. Some of the matchmaking I just didn't like. The refereeing fucking sucked. The refereeing was absolutely atrocious through the
probably some of the worst reffing I have seen in an event for a long time. People say, this fight, the ref didn't, Herb Dean didn't get there. But listen, those guys are fucking always doing these big fights. They do a lot of fights. They're fucking eons better than the refs that were at there. Whoever these refs were, I have no idea what the hell they were doing. It was absolutely atrocious. Okay. It was atrocious. Joy, it's atrocious because if anybody watched the main event, the
main event was the worst bit of refereeing I've ever seen.
What happened? Tony Lopez gets basically TKO'd or whatever. He's on the ground. We're done. The ref comes in and breaks it up. So you think the fight is
but he
over.
Never waves his hand.
But he doesn't wave his hand. Then he asks Tony, hey, you think you can you can't hear him, but he's probably going, hey, Tony.
He's talking to him. He's standing over him, talking to him.
Knocked out.
Stands him up.
You still want to fight or something. Tony's like, oh, hell yeah, I'll get up. He stands them up and starts the fight standing. It's like, first of all, Tony was on the ground and you stopped the fight. So Nicholson walks away. And then all of a sudden now they're fighting again. I thought the fight was fucking over. So then he gets hit again and TKO'd. And the ref goes to do the same shit for a second time. He was like, yo, you still want to fight again? I mean, I know I stopped the fight, but I'm going to keep going if you don't really want to stop fighting. Are you asking the fighters if they want to keep fighting after the fight's over and then you're going back on it? It's the fucking weirdest thing I've ever seen.
And especially
that guy out.
And Alex Nicholson is a beast. He is a beast. But they need to bring in I don't know who his original opponent was supposed to be for this main event, but all respect to Tony Lopez, 120 fights as a pro. The guy's a fucking veteran. He's fought everybody and everybody under the sun, but he's also like 48, 50 years old. Oh, Coulter, we know him. Did he fought in the UFC? Okay, so that would have been a more formidable opponent. I don't know what Tony Lopez's age is off the top of my head. It's like 48, 49 years old, 47, 48, 49. He's an old guy. Alex Nicholson is young. He's strong. He's a fucking bad dude. We met him in Florida. He's just a bad dude, man.
You know who's a bad dude? Corn Pop.
Which one's Corn Pop?
You know Corn Pop?
No.
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he hung around with a bunch of bad boys. Oh, that's Joe Biden. He fought Corn Pop. Anyways, I digress.
I don't know who that is, dude.
You don't know the Corn Pop story?
No, I don't know the Corn Pop story. What the fuck is that?
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he hung around with a bunch of bad boys.
Nope.
That was the Joe Biden story that I'll have to bring up later because we didn't get political on this show.
All right. Let's move on to UFC. Let's talk about UFC real quick, and then we got to talk about Jake Paul. Derek Lewis is a national treasure.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it right here. Derek Lewis is a national treasure. We need to protect him at all costs. We need him around forever. That guy is the fucking man. He goes out there. He demolishes Chris Daukaus with these devastating fucking blows that don't look like the craziest punches in the world, but like Mike and I were talking about, the slightest little uppercut from a man like from a man named Derek Lewis will put you on your fucking he'll put you on your back, and you'll be in the fucking stratosphere. You will not know what the fuck hit you, and then he'll turn around, take his cup off, and whip it out into the crowd like a goddamn fucking animal, right?
Yeah, the commentators too. They're like, "All right, he's untying his shorts and his hands are down," And I was like, "Wait, what the fuck?" I had to turn because I actually stood up to get my phone. I had it plugged in. I was going to walk over to it, and all of a sudden, I was like, wait, he's taking his pants off again. But when I turned around, he pulled his cup out, and then they were like, he's going to throw it in the crowd. And I was like, oh, no, because it seemed like he was going to, but was just joking. But then he actually threw it out.
That dude that caught it was like the happiest guy in the world. He was like
on his face, taking shoeies from it, basically. Cuppies. Did you do a cuppy from it? Do you pour beer in there and drink it?
I think it's got holes through it, dude.
Hey, you go quick.
Nah, man, it was another really good event. I loved seeing Cub Swanson do his thing against Darren Elkins. Cub Swanson's I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, he tries to make everyone cry after he fights all the time now. I don't know what that's all about. That's the second time in a row he fought, I think, that he tried to make people cry after the fight. Sick and tired of that shit. He killed him.
Oh, Joe Ivy says, all right, we'll get to that.
Oh,
Joe.
Yeah. You're talking about the Island Boys?
Yeah, we'll talk about
little
that.
Bitches.
Rafael Assunção getting fucking KO'd. Assunção one time was one of the, a everyday top fiver in that 135-pound division. Ricky Simone's a fucking bad boy. But
yeah. He's one of Corn Pop's friends.
He's one
of Corn Pop's friends. Wait till you hear.
I fucking love it. I don't know, man. I don't know if Assunção has it in him anymore. I think that Cody Garbrandt knockout from a year ago might have fucking took a little little strength off that chin of his. So I think
on the strength.
You had
Ty Cara France.
The fucking Angela Hill fight was fucking fantastic. Angela Hill, she got the loss, but I love Angela Hill, man. She's in every single fight she's ever in. She never gets dominated ever. She puts on a show every time. And Joe Ivy says she got robbed. Do you guys remember she fought 5 times last year? And she should have went 5-0. She got robbed twice.
She got robbed twice. Yeah.
She got robbed in the Gedalia fight.
She lost decisions twice. Yeah.
Decisions twice.
I didn't think she got robbed in this fight per se.
well,
she got knocked down in the first round. Like she definitely lost the first round for sure.
yeah, for sure.
So,
But I mean, like, yeah, this
and
one.
then it
Oh,
was
and
back
this
and
one,
forth in the
no, I
second.
don't think she got robbed in this one. No,
It was
but I think
closer,
last
but
year, I think last year she absolutely got robbed by when she beat Claudia Gadelia, and there was another one she fought last year. I can't
Tisha
remember.
Torres, maybe. Did she
Whatever
fight
it
Tisha
was, I thought
Torres?
whatever the two decisions that she lost last year, I thought she won both of them. She should have won 5-0 in 2020. She was my female fighter of the year, even with 2 losses. Yeah, good for her. And let's move on and let's finish this show out by talking about the surprise of all freaking surprises.
Ouch. Ow.
Tyron Woodley's is done fighting, right? He's absolutely done fighting. His legacy is getting more and more tarnished every time he goes out there and does one of these dumb fights. And
Look at the way he's laying down.
Look at the way he's laying. Oh my
his
God.
Feet and his hands. His hands are back, and his feet, like, he did get laid out pretty
Okay,
good.
so let me throw this out to the people that are watching right now. You guys really don't. Nobody really believes that this was fixed, right? I mean, like this was like him and Woodley had this all planned, and he signaled him with a hand. Like that is the dumbest shit. You guys are all. Anybody who thinks that, and I know that fucking some of our friends posted a lot of our friends posted.
Powerful
Get the fuck out of here
shot right there.
If you're going to fix a fight, you are not going to take
leveled.
You're not going to take a shot to the fucking head that's going to put your lights completely out.
Nope. And when he passed out, he did the folding halfway down, like almost 90 degrees, and fell straight forward and came very close to falling the way that Justin Thornton fell on his head during
very
that
much
BKFC.
like Thornton.
He came very close to falling exactly the same way because he fucking bent over and fell forward, but he caught like his body like kind of like hit the ground and like he spread out, but he almost fucking fell on the top of his head. And
absolutely.
And I thought it was scary
fixed,
because
dude.
Even after that, if you listen to the ref, when Jake Paul kind of stood there for a second and kind of looked and probably was like, oh shit, I knocked him out. And then he ran and jumped on the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, the dudes came in and kind of held him in the corner, and you could hear the ref was standing. He was like on his knees with his hand on Woodley's back saying, everyone out of the ring. I need the doctors now. Like we need doctors. We need people out of the ring. Like I thought he was seriously hurt after that by the way the ref was yelling, because it took him a while to get back up after that. So I'm not sure he fucking took a dive on that shit.
No way. No way. Absolutely not. And
he looked horrible afterwards too. He was like saddened.
It was a rough knockout. It was a devastating knockout, and he is a butt of a lot of jokes now. He is a meme forever.
Yeah.
I think we got some of them. We got a few of these memes.
We got a few of them.
I know he was like trying to save face, and he came out and was like, "I'll give $5,000 to the person that has the best meme."
Yep.
Like he's trying to play like he's okay with it.
Well, there's one of them.
It's like he's okay, man, but he can't be okay with this, dude. He looks so dead.
Yeah, he's just tanning. Relax, Kyle.
Yep.
And if everybody stuck around after the fight, you would have heard the Joe Rogan interview.
The Joe Rogan. I love the Joe Rogan.
Stops at nothing. Get that friggin' interview, right? Oh and Joe Ivy just said it a second ago. This is probably one of my favorites. The Toys in Toy Story, when they hear Andy coming in his room.
Yeah,
he is.
Andy's coming.
That one,
he really does, because he looks
so funny.
He looks rubber, like you could turn his feet, and like the old school wrestling guys that like put their arms out. Like it looks like you could mold him to however you want. It was a fucking brutal knockout, but like, I mean, they need like Tyron Woodley's he's had a suspect jaw for his last 6 fights. He's gotten brutally fucking beaten. I think he had a decent fight against Gabriel Burns, right? That was like he's 0-6 in his last 6. But dude, they need to find a real tough opponent for maybe not. Like we were talking about today. So most boxers, if you look at their fucking record, their first 15 fights are kind of like nobody's gimme fights anyway. They do it to every pro
They're
fighter
always
out
like
there.
that.
They pad their fucking record for the first dozen or 15 fights, and then they start fighting real opponents. Now, it's almost like Jake Paul, and I'm not defending Jake Paul, and like if anybody wants to fucking shit on him, whatever, but fighting someone
Be
like
realistic
Tyron,
about it, right?
but fighting Tyron Woodley twice is probably more impressive than fighting some schmuck boxer that has like a 15-30 record, that's been around forever, who's some journeyman that they use to pad fucking records. You know what I mean?
I mean, does anybody ever heard of Roberto Apodaca, Reggie Sanders, Jerry Cooper, Edgar Ayala, or Kino Rodriguez? I mean, people might have, but I haven't.
And who did you just name?
Who? Tony Duran, Larry O'Shields.
Whose record are you reading?
I'm reading Floyd Mayweather's.
Okay, see, there you go.
Yeah, Louis Layla, Felipe Garcia, Hector Arroyo, Sam Girard. I don't know most of the people on this list. That's like 10 fights.
But Susan Walker, how about he fights a real boxer? You're right. He needs to. Tommy Fury backed out. Tommy Fury is a real boxer. He was going to fight Tommy Fury at 5. What's he? He was 4-0. Now he's 5-0.
Tommy Fury?
No.
Yes.
So at 4-0,
and he's knocked out all of his opponents.
Yeah, he was gonna fight Tommy Fury. So they're saying that the most likely opponent for him next is Anderson Silva. So once again, not a boxer, but Anderson Silva does have one pro boxer.
Silva looked good though when he fought.
Yes, he did. So Anderson Silva can box. We all know that.
That would be cool.
He's got hands.
I thought Anderson was going to fight his brother at some point.
But they said that Jake's, well, yeah, that was supposed to happen. But now they're saying that Jake's most likely opponent will be Anderson Silva, and Anderson will open as the favorite. So interesting. Joe,
he's beaten a boxer that was decent,
Mm-hmm.
So,
what'd you think about your island boys getting fucking pelted with drinks and booed out of the building?
I feel like it's par for the course. It's exactly what they deserve.
Yeah, they are.
They walk around like they're the shit.
Oh,
they're literally fucking
the worst,
the tiniest fucking two guys you've ever seen. They think that they're gangsters. They act like they're gangsters, and that's what you get. I mean, it's par for the course. That's what happens when you act like that. I mean, it is what it is. They are who they are. You see these videos that come out, and I don't know if they're real or not, but they get in people's faces and they're like, "Yo, you think I'm kidding, yo?" If one person wants to put a hand on them, they'd be
in that
out
dude's
cold.
Right?
He'd be out cold. If that guy hit him square, he'd be done. He'd be all done.
They were on like the Full Send Boys, the Full Send podcast, the Nelk Boys podcast or whatever, and that one dude. There's that video out there. Yeah, the bigger guy in that little fucking twerp is right up in his face, and he's going, "I don't give a fuck, yo. I don't give a fuck."
Well, then they went on Logan Paul's.
Oh, dude, it's like one of these days those kids are gonna get really fucking smacked down hard.
They went on Logan Paul's also and started with the guy on their fucking podcast too, saying, and he was like right next to both of them, going, "I'm right here," and they were like sitting almost face to face. And that's the thing. That's what happens. You want to be a gangster. You want to act like a gangster. Somebody's going to fucking check you one day. It's going to happen. 100%. So not surprised at all that people don't like it.
But you know what? And for those who, I put Jake Paul on my Student Out of the Week nominees last week just because I hate looking at him. I think he just looks like such a dick.
Jake Paul?
Jake Paul. Yeah. But you know what? For those who hate Jake Paul, that knockout was clean. But he's also bringing eyeballs to events and like
helping out Amanda Serrano.
Amanda Serrano is becoming a bigger star because of Jake Paul, because that fucking Disney twerp fucking draws a lot of eyeballs and sells pay-per-views. So good for him. Good for him. The fucking with his fifth win, fifth knockout. putting Tyron Woodley's fucking career to bed. Tyron Woodley is officially 0-6 since dropping the single, "I'll whoop your ass" or "I'll beat your ass."
Hasn't whooped a single ass. He hasn't beat
0
a
asses
single
whooped.
ass. Yep.
So it was a hell of a fucking weekend. Hell of a weekend. A lot of it's so hard to squeeze all these fucking fights into one whole weekend. But you know what? We always find a way to fucking get it done. Thank you to Corey Norman, the triple champ, coming on tonight, giving us almost an hour of his time. We were expecting to talk to him for a half an hour, but he's super cool, way down to earth. We had a good time with him. Looking forward to him fighting January 21st against Ed Collins. Tomorrow night, tune in. We have one half of the BKFC Fight Night Jackson event, January 29th.
Yeah.
Our boy Elvin Brito, the bare knuckle bandito, will be on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. He is one half of the main event in Jackson, Mississippi, against our guest from last week, Caleb Harris. Elvin Brito will be on at 9 p.m. And then we will have Logan Weaver, who will be making her second.
Bandito.
Look at that. Elvin Leon Burrito. Look at that dude. I mean, I love watching his training videos. He's got a go over his shoulders. He's running with a fucking goose under his arm. I don't know what's going on half the time. Like he had a fucking
goose.
He had a big goose like under his arm. He's like fucking walking around with it. El Bandito will be here 9 p.m. tomorrow night, one half of that event, main event, fighting for the 165-pound title against Caleb the Lionheart Harris, January 29th in Jackson, Mississippi. But then we got Logan Weaver coming on for the second time. She'll be making her second walk to the Cage Wars cage January 21st. We will be there for that one. We can't wait to talk to her too. I don't have a graphic for her.
I do.
Oh, there she is. Look at her. She looks very mean. She's such a sweetheart, but she looks like she might punch your teeth right down your fucking throat, Mike. Boom! You know, try her. Try her, Mike. I dare you.
And we'll get to meet her live. We'll do a interview live, and maybe she'll join the live show. Maybe she'll be there for Ben Field. Maybe she'll do Ben Field's makeup for us.
I was just gonna say maybe she can give him some beauty tips for when he throws that fucking outfit on. So tune in tomorrow night. Thank you, Corey, for coming on. Mike, it's always fun. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Mike and Mish. Peace. Just hold it. Just pause. Peace.